Everyone, in this video we would focus on research design. Now, what is a research design? A research design refers to the overall strategy utilized to answer research questions. The overall strategy utilized to answer research questions. You remember that in the introductory chapter, or the chapter we usually call the chapter 1, we ask some questions that aligns with our specific objectives. Okay, good. Now, the point is that the questions that we asked in the introductory chapter, the chapter 1, how do we get answers? How do we get answers to those questions? That is when we have to talk about the research designs. Now, research design basically refers to the strategies that you are going to use to get information to answer your research questions. That is a research design. Okay, so it's more like a strategy that you are going to use to gather data. So a research design basically is a strategy you are going to use to gather data, gather information to answer or produce answers to your research questions. That is a research design. In other words, you can say it's a structured framework or a blueprint that outlines how a study will be carried out. And that includes how a study will be carried out. That includes the strategies for collecting data, the strategies for measuring the variables or the data that you'll be collecting, how you are going to analyze the data in order to answer the research questions. That is a research design. Okay, now again, a research design is the arrangement of conditions for collection and analysis of data in a manner that aims to combine relevance to the research purpose with economy in procedure. That is also research design. Okay, so research design is about the various procedures that you are going to use, the various conditions that you are going to observe to collect information, to collect data, okay, and also to analyze the data, okay, so that at the end of the day you get answers to the research questions. That is basically what we call a research design. The arrangement of conditions for the collection and analysis of data in a manner that aims to combine relevance to the research purpose with economy in procedure. This definition further emphasizes that the choice of a research design should consider factors such as it being cost efficient and also it's being, time efficient. Is that okay when you are selecting a research design? Okay, now what is the importance of a research design? Now, a research design provides a clear blueprint. Now, what does that mean? What it means is that it outlines the overall plan for the data collection. It's like a guide. Is that okay? It's like a guide. So I like this definition of research design a lot. There is this definition of research design that I like a lot. A research design is the conceptual backbone within which a research is conducted. Very interesting, very deep. It's a conceptual backbone within which research is conducted. It comprises of what? It comprises of the blueprint or the roadmap for collection, measurement, and analysis of data. It's the conceptual backbone. Do you know what that means? That means it's more like a support system, more like a guide. Is that okay? So the backbone in this sense is the research design is more like a guide within which the study or the research is conducted. Is that okay? So that means that if we say something is your backbone, more like your support system, usually if we want an information from you, okay, we can get it from your support system. Is that okay? So if you really want to understand how a project will be conducted, is that okay? The various procedures that will be observed, we can see that through the lens of the research designs that were used. Is that okay? That is a research design. In other words, you can say that it comprises the blueprint or roadmap for collection, measurement, and analysis of data. Again, research design is an organized plan for gathering and analyzing data to answer a research question or to test a hypothesis. So research design is an organized plan for gathering and analyzing data to answer a research question or to test a hypothesis. It entails careful planning of the research procedures, data collection, data analysis, and interpretation of the results. Now, the research design helps researchers to identify the primary goals of the research and to select the best approach to meet these goals. Is that okay? So basically, a research design is the conceptual backbone within which a research is conducted. More like a roadmap, a guide. It spells out how the research will be conducted, and more importantly, it will let us understand how we are going to get answers to the research questions that we asked in the introductory chapter of the research. Is that okay? Great. So basically, that is a research design. So it provides a clear blueprint. Is that okay? Good. Again, it also enhances validity and reliability. Now, your research design that you are using help to reduce bias and errors through proper structure and planning, because you see, your research design help us to know the blueprint, the roadmap. Is that okay? So once your research design have been specified, outlined, and it is clear, you know systematically where you are going from a particular point. Okay, so you don't tell us you are doing quantitative study, and at the end of the day, we see you adapting procedures as though you are doing a qualitative study. Okay, your research design it strengthens the accuracy and credibility of the results. It strengthens the accuracy and the credibility of your results, because you see, the design is what outlines all the procedures that you are going to use. And once you tell us that this is the design you are using, you have to observe all the procedures under that design. And in doing that, you are able to reduce bias. You are able to correct errors. Okay? And that also strengthens the accuracy and credibility of the research results that you've gotten. Now, again, research design also ensures efficiency or efficient use of what? Resources. It ensures efficient use of resources. How is that possible? It helps researchers to manage time. That is one. It helps researchers to manage time, the data, and the materials that will be used effectively. Okay, it also helps to minimize unnecessary duplications and effort. Now, again, research designs guides data collection and analysis. That is the definition of research design. It guides data collection and analysis. Your research design can give us an idea how you collect your data. So, for example, if you tell us your design is a quantitative design, then of course we know that you are going to use the instrument you are going to use is a questionnaire. If you tell us that you are going to do a qualitative study, then of course we know the instrument you are going to use is an interview guide. Do you get? So your research design specifies the methods and the tools that best suited for answering the research questions. Okay, so the research design guides data collection and analysis. Now, again, research design facilitates replication and evaluation. Research design facilitates replication, and that is very simple and practical, because you see, if you conduct a study and we have an idea or we know your research design, we can easily replicate the study that you've conducted in another space or in another environment. Okay, so for example, you've conducted a study using a certain design, for example, quantitative design, and we know all the procedures that you observed. Do you get it? We can easily replicate your study in another environment using your research design. Okay, so research design facilitates replication and evaluation, and also with evaluation, if we know your research design, we can better evaluate your study or your project. So, for example, you tell us your research design is quantitative, but we see you using procedures as though you are using a qualitative or you are conducting a qualitative study, then we can raise questions. You get, so the design that you are using can help us to replicate, can help us to repeat your study in another environment or repeat your study in another setting, and can also help us to evaluate your work, your research design. Okay, so you realize that research design is very important, very, very, very important. Now, we are going to talk about the various types of research designs. The various types of research designs. Now, what I want you to understand is that we have three main types of research design. Three main types of research design. We have the quantitative research design, we have the qualitative research design, and we have the mixed method designs. We have the quantitative research design, we have the qualitative research design, and we have the mixed method design. Okay, so let me go over it again. There are three main types of research designs. We have the quantitative research design, we have the qualitative research design, and we have the mixed method design. The mixed method design. Now, let's start with quantitative research design. Now, when we say quantitative research design, what does it mean? Quantitative research design focuses on systematic collection and analysis of numerical data to measure variables, identify patterns, and test hypotheses. Quantitative research designs focuses on systematic collection and analysis of numerical data to measure variables, identify patterns, and test hypotheses. Let's explain further. Now, it relies on statistical methods to establish relationship, differences, or causal effect between variables. This approach seeks objectivity, precision, and ability to generalize findings to a larger population. Now, what does that mean? Now, what that means is that in quantitative research, you deal with numerical data. The information or the data you are going to collect is numerical. Okay, so if you are conducting a study, you want to measure something in numbers, or you have to measure something in numbers, in percentages. Do you get it? In numbers, the best design to use is what? Is quantitative research design. So the key point in quantitative is that the approach uses numerical data. Sometimes another way you can know a study is a quantitative study. Sometimes it uses structured instruments and statistical procedures. And you know, statistics deals with what? With numbers. Is that okay? Great. So you want to conduct a study, you want to measure patterns, you want to measure prevalence. Okay, you want to test hypotheses. The best design to use is quantitative design. Now, one key thing about quantitative design is that when you are using quantitative design, you can use both primary and secondary data. In quantitative designs, you are allowed to use both primary and secondary data. When we say primary data, first-hand data. For example, you issue questionnaire out. The information you are taking first-hand, that is a primary data. Or you can make reference to the data from a study that has been conducted already, or an information that have been already collected, or from records. Is that in doing quantitative study, you have the opportunity to use both primary and secondary data. That is very key in quantitative designs. Okay, now what data type do you deal with in quantitative design, or can you deal with in quantitative design? Numerical data. Okay, and in quantitative study, usually there are some experiments that are conducted, and you have to use questionnaire. So for example, if someone is conducting a study and the person wants to use a questionnaire, for example, a questionnaire with close-ended questions, a questionnaire that you've given the respondents options to choose from, automatically, you shouldn't ask the person, automatically they use the quantitative research design. Okay, good. So, and so what that means is that if you have someone's project work, okay, the instruments that was used can give you an idea of the kind of design that was used in the study. Okay, so if I tell you that I've conducted a study, the data collection instruments that I used was a questionnaire. The questionnaire, I asked some questions and I gave options. Automatically, that should tell you the design that I used is a quantitative research design. Why? Because if it is a qualitative design, I'll be using a questionnaire, and in a questionnaire, I'll ask questions that are open-ended and give the respondents an opportunity to answer. And as they are answering, I record their responses. Is that okay? Such a design or such an instrument will be used in qualitative research design. Now, in quantitative research design, questionnaire with closed-ended questions. Now, another point you have to note is that how results of the data that you have collected can be presented can also give you an idea the type of design. So, for example, if I conduct a study and my objective is to present the data using frequency distribution table, I'm conducting a study. My objective is to present my results using a line graph. My objective is to present my results using descriptive and inferential statistics. My objective is to present my results using a pie chart. Then I would only be able to do that using a quantitative research design. So you want to conduct a study. Your one of your focuses, you want to present some of your results using a pie chart. You want to present some of your results using percentages. You want to perform standard deviation, mean, variance, range. You want to perform all these calculations like median, mode. You want to perform all these calculations. Then, of course, the design you can use is quantitative, because it's only in quantitative design that you can present results with frequency distribution tables. It's only in quantitative design that you can present results with descriptive statistics, with inferential statistics. It's only in quantitative design that you can calculate percentages, that you can calculate, you can have a frequency distribution table or tables. Only in quantitative designs. Okay, so that should tell you that if you have someone's project work, one of the ways you can know the design that was used is by going to the results section. So if I give you someone's project work and you go to the results section and you see tables, you see graphs, it should tell you the design that was used was a quantitative design. You open into someone's project, the results section, and you see line graph, box plot, bar chart, pie chart, frequency distribution table, mean calculation, median calculation, mode, okay, standard deviation, variance. You see all these kind of calculations, inferential statistics like regression analysis, chi-square. You see all these kind of calculations. So automatically, you should know that the design that was used was a quantitative research design. So, okay, and what that means is that in quantitative research design, okay, quantitative research design, or the design that you use, can also influence how you can present your results at the end of the study. The design that you use, that is the meaning. Okay, so you see, we have several ways that you can know the kind of design that someone utilized. Okay, so from this video, you would understand that if you have someone's project work, one of the ways you can know the design they use is to go and check the instrument. Go and check the data collection instrument. So you open to the data collection instrument, then you see them asking questions and giving respondents options to choose from. That is a questionnaire. So automatically you should know that if those are the only range of questions you are seeing, then automatically you should know that the study is a quantitative research. They employed quantitative research. Okay. However, you take someone's project, you open, then you see interview guide. They ask questions, give options for them to answer, or they conducted an interview, focus group discussion. Straight away, you should know that the study is a qualitative study. Okay. Now, again, quantitative research provides measurable insights that can be generalized to a broader population when proper sampling methods are used. Quantitative research provides measurable insights that can be generalized to a broader population when proper sampling methods are used. Okay, and this is also very important. Okay, now what are the advantages of quantitative research design? Quantitative research design allows you because you see, we are dealing with numbers, numerical data. Okay, so of course, it's going to allow you to perform some statistical analysis and to also make some objective comparisons. Quantitative research. Quantitative research also produces generalizable findings when using large samples. Okay, so for example, you conduct a quantitative research and your sample size is appreciable, very large, very good. You can generalize your findings. Is that okay? Again, quantitative research can enable you to measure variables precisely. Okay, and like I said earlier, quantitative research is very useful when you are testing theories or you want to establish causal relationships. Okay, so in summary, quantitative research design. Quantitative research design focuses on numerical data, collecting, systematic collecting and analyzing or analysis of numerical data, okay, to measure variables, identify patterns, prevalence, test hypothesis, and all that. Is that okay? Again, how will you know someone is conducting a quantitative research, or what other features will you see in a quantitative research design? The kind of data that will be collected and the instruments that will be used to collect the data. So for example, someone is conducting a study and the person is collecting variables in numbers. Someone is conducting a study, the person is using a questionnaire. It's a quantitative study. Questionnaire with close-ended questions that you've given options. Automatically, it's a quantitative study. Okay, good. Now, someone wants to conduct a study. The objective is to present your data or your results with pie charts, with bar charts, with line graph, with box plots, with frequency distribution tables or with tables. The person wants to perform analysis like mean, median, mode, range, regression analysis or correlation analysis, chi-square, inferential statistics, basically. Then the best design that will be used is quantitative research design. Okay, so you see, there are so many ways you can know that the study utilized quantitative: by checking the results, 1, by checking the data collection instrument, 2, and then by checking the variables that were measured and how the variables were collected or how the variables were measured. That is also another way you can know the type of design that was used. Now let's look at qualitative research design. Qualitative research design. Now, qualitative research design focuses on exploring and understanding human experiences, behaviors, and beliefs, as well as a social phenomena from the perspective of the participants. Okay, so in a situation where you want to explore, you want to understand people's experiences, you want to understand behaviors of people, you want to understand perception, beliefs, social phenomena, you want an in-depth understanding of people's experiences, an in-depth understanding of people's behavior, people's beliefs, people's perception. The best design to use is qualitative research design. Now, unlike the quantitative, the qualitative deals with understanding people's perceptions. Okay, you realize that quantitative focuses on numerical data. It deals with numbers. Okay, it deals with numbers. It deals with measurements. Qualitative seeks to uncover meanings. It seeks to understand motivations and also interpretations that individuals or groups assign to their experiences. Okay, so unlike the quantitative that focuses on just numbers, measuring patterns, understanding maybe occurrences, prevalence, qualitative seeks to uncover meanings. It seeks to uncover the interpretations, the reasons behind individuals or groups, okay, their experiences. Okay, now the other point is that qualitative is an in-depth, flexible, interpretive approach used to explain the why, the how of social health related issues rather than simply the what exist. Is that okay? So usually qualitative. Okay, qualitative designs are used when you want to get an in-depth, flexible, interpretive information. Okay, you want to get an in-depth information, an in-depth understanding of the experiences of people, or a social issue, or a social phenomenon, rather than just getting to know the what. Do you get it? Qualitative focuses on the why, the reasons. You really want to understand the reasons behind the occurrence of a certain phenomenon. You get the why and the how, the reason why certain things occur, okay, in certain groups or in certain populations. Then the best design to adapt is qualitative research design. Now, with regards to the data type, with qualitative research, it relies on non-numerical data. Qualitative research relies on non-numerical data. Non-numerical data such as words, observations, or even visual materials. Okay, and mostly the common type of data collection instrument or data collection method that is used in qualitative research is what we call in-depth interviews, focus group discussions, participant observations, field notes, reflective journals, and document reviews. Okay, so the common type of data collection method that is used in qualitative design is interviews, in-depth interviews or interview guides, focus group discussions, participant observations, field notes, reflective journals, okay, and document reviews. The data are analyzed thematically or narratively to identify recurring ideas, meanings, and patterns. Okay, that is what we call qualitative research design. Now, one thing you need to remember about qualitative research design is that if you want to use qualitative research design, you will not be able to use secondary data. Okay, qualitative research design, the only type of data you can use is primary data. You can't use secondary data in qualitative research design, but you can use both primary and secondary data when you are using quantitative. So for quantitative, someone can do a quantitative study and use an already existing record in the study. But with qualitative, you can only use primary data. That is something you have to note. Now, in terms of how you can present your results, the outcome. Now, if you conduct a qualitative study, the results of a qualitative study usually provide rich, detailed, and conceptual insight. Rich, detailed, or in-depth conceptual insights. Okay, so what that means is that the results of a qualitative study is very rich, is very detailed, and it carries in-depth conceptual insight, meaning rich descriptions. Okay, context-specific descriptions. Okay, so qualitative design emphasizes on depth, in-depth. Is that okay? Meaning quality, rich, in-depth. Okay, good. That's why we are using the word qualitative. Rich, in-depth, detailed conceptual insight. Okay, that helps you to explain human behavior. And that's the reason why if you want to understand experiences of people, the best design to use is qualitative design because of the in-depth nature of the design. Okay, so with qualitative, you can't do a qualitative study and you present your results with bar charts, pie charts. No, it's going to be rich description, narrative, thematic content analysis, narrative descriptions. Is that okay? Good. So if for example someone have given you their project work, you open to the results section, you see pie charts, frequency tables, it can be qualitative design. But you open someone's results section, you see narrative description and rich description. It's like you are describing interview between two people. We are trying to present the stories of people. Then the results that you are presenting is from a qualitative research. Do you get? So the results section too can give you an idea the type of design that you use. And if you are using qualitative, you can present your results using frequency tables. Okay, you can present your results using frequency tables. Again, with regards to the data type too, you can use secondary data when you employ qualitative research design. Now, instead of generating numerical summaries, it produces conceptual understanding and interpretive explanation that reveal underlying reasons, beliefs, and emotions influencing a particular phenomenon. Now, what are the importance of qualitative research design? Qualitative research design provide deep understanding of complex phenomena. If you want a design that can provide you with deep understanding of a very complex phenomena, the best design to use is qualitative research design. Now, qualitative research design also captures participant perspective and context-rich data. Okay, now another advantage of qualitative research design is that it is flexible and adaptable to emerging insights. It is also useful for exploring new areas with limited prior research. If you want to conduct a study that had not been in an area that had not been really explored, the best design to use is qualitative. You want to conduct a study, the discipline or the area you want to conduct a study, there is just limited data or information in that area. The best design to use is qualitative research design. Okay, so we have qualitative research design, quantitative research design. How will you know a study is a quantitative research design? With quantitative research design, you are going to measure numbers, and it is best when you want to measure prevalence, you want to measure patterns. Do you get it? You want to measure patterns, you want to measure prevalence, you want to test hypotheses. The best design to use is quantitative design. Now, in using quantitative design, the instruments that you are allowed to use is questionnaire, especially that with close-ended questions. Again, the data type that you can collect or you can use is both primary and secondary data. However, when you are conducting a qualitative study or you are using a qualitative research design, you can only use primary data. Again, when it comes to the results, if you are using or you are conducting quantitative research or you are using quantitative research design, you can only present your results using descriptive and inferential statistics like frequency distribution table, mean calculation, median, mode, variance, standard deviation. Those are the kind of analysis that you can do. Do you get it? But you can't present results with frequency tables, pie chart, bar chart, line graph, box plot when you are doing a qualitative study. In qualitative study, you can only present your results with a narrative, thematically, narrative description, rich, in-depth description. Okay, so if I give you someone's project work and you go to the results section, by looking at the results section alone, you should be able to tell the type of design that was used. Is that okay? So practically, these are the two main types of research design: quantitative research design and qualitative research design. Now, the next design we are going to talk about is the mixed methods research design. The mixed methods research design. Now, just from the name, you should be able to tell what this means. Mixed methods research design. This refers to a systematic approach that combines both quantitative and qualitative research methods within a single study to provide a comprehensive understanding of the research problem. It integrates numerical data, that is the quantitative aspect, with descriptive, experimental, and narrative data, that is the qualitative aspect, allowing the researcher to explore not only what is happening, but also why and how it happens. This design recognizes that complex health and social issues are best understood through integration of both forms of evidence. Now, what is the purpose of mixed method? It integrates both numerical trends and personal experiences. It allows validation of findings through multiple sources. What data type can we use? We can use both quantitative data type and qualitative data type. Like data type in the form of numbers, we can do statistics, surveys, and experiment that measure variables objectively. We can also do the data type can also be qualitative data like words, like observations, like interviews, like focus group discussions, like open-ended responses that explore meanings and context. Now, both types are collected either concurrently, that is at the same time, or sequentially, one after the other, depending on the research designs. Is that so? Basically, that is mixed method. So in mixed method, so if you are conducting a mixed method study, you'll be able to present your results with both the quantitative style and then the qualitative style, meaning you can present your results using descriptive and inferential statistics and also a narrative description. Is that okay? Again, the data that you can collect data in the form of numbers and also in the form of words or non-numerical data. Is that okay? If you are using a mixed method, you'll be able to use both primary and secondary data too. You'll be able to use both primary and secondary data. Do you get it? So basically, these are the three main types of research design. So there are three main types of research design: qualitative research design, quantitative research design, and mixed method design. There are three main types of research design: quantitative research design, qualitative research design, and mixed method design. What is a quantitative research design? Quantitative research design is the type of research design that is utilized or adapted when you want to collect numerical data, you want to measure experiences, you want to test hypotheses, you want to conduct an study and be able to perform statistical analysis. Then the best design to use is quantitative research design. Okay, again, you want to conduct a study. Your objective is that you want to present your results using pie charts, using bar charts, using box plot, using descriptive and inferential statistics like calculate mean, calculate variance, standard deviation, mode, range. You want to do these kinds of calculations. Inferential statistics like regression, correlation, chi-square. You want to do this kind of analysis. Then the best design you should choose is quantitative research design. Again, in quantitative research design, you would only be able to use secondary data, both secondary and primary data in quantitative research design. However, in qualitative research design, you can only use primary data, first-hand information. And in qualitative research design, you can only present your results with a narrative review. You can only present your results with a narrative review. You can't present your results using you only have to narrate. It's like you are narrating a discussion or you are narrating people's responses. You can present with pie charts, bar charts, frequency distribution tables, and you can do statistical calculations when you are doing qualitative research. Is that okay? But then when it comes to mixed method research design combines both quantitative and qualitative research methods within a single study to provide comprehensive understanding of a research problem. Okay, good. So this brings us to the end of the main types of research design. In our next video, we would focus on the other types of research design. We have other types of research design. These three are the main types of research design. Thank you so much for your time. Catch you in our next video. Bye-bye.